It's the cold hard truth. Everyone really want to know what's going on with her show. Just get on the air and you will know it's Sandra. The queen of the mile road is here, helping people from everywhere. Get on the phone and you will hear Sandra. Now she will tell you how it goes, but don't you ever step on her toes, 'cause you will hear the cold hard truth from Sandra. They say she's the hero in town, helping people from all around. You get a call, your money is found, it's Sandra. Some will call her late at night just to say that there's a fight, and she will not just leave it alone. She'll get up and call on the phone, and when politics starts on her show, everyone really wants to know the way the things will really go with Sandra. Some will start to criticize, get on the show and tell pure lies, but someday we'll realize it's Sandra. When they start to argue again, she'll pull the heads to the wind, and soon you will be a friend with Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. Every day everyone wanna hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra. 'Cause every day everyone got to hear from Sandra.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are you doing, honey child? Hope that you guys are having a fantastic week. It is Friday, part 1. Today is Thursday. Let me get my date right. March the 5th, 2026. All right, the beautiful month of March is here. No holidays this month, right? Cayman has a lot of holidays. Everybody's like, you know what? You might as well just go ahead and make every single month a holiday and let's just call it even. But yeah, I think this month is one month that we don't have a holiday. Well, everybody good? Good morning. Yes, beautiful people. How is everybody doing? Miss Delcy in the house. Hi, Miss Delcy. Let me update the links because I know you guys are waiting. Give me a second, please, and thank you very. Hold on, gotta mute that feedback there. Okay. Let me just see here. All righty, very good. There's a few people every single day. They're like, Sandy, I can't find you. I'm like, I'm trying to make it easy for you. You're reusing the exact same links. I just update the backlink. So just give me a second. You got to wait till, because I can't update the Facebook one until we're actually live because that link doesn't become available. I could technically do the YouTube one in advance because that one doesn't change actually. All right, let me see here. Okay. Let me see. Let me see here. Okay. Kirks. Got to mute all of them this morning. I was listening to social media channel's last name. All right. So everyone is doing amazing. I hope. I had a really good day yesterday. Busy bee. Today's my anniversary. Whoop, whoop. Hello. Yes. We don't quite celebrate anniversaries. Like, we're not big on these things because we be busy. We be having things to do. But I must say, we made it to 11 years. Can you believe it? OMG. 11 years. Yeah. Thank you. Getting some happy anniversary messages. Appreciate it. 11 years together for 13. Is that right? I always have to do the math. Sorry. And it's all good. I'm a really strange person, to be honest, because I got to tell you the truth. If part of me feels this way, if I didn't want to have a child, and yes, I waited very, very long, I'm not so sure that I would have gotten married. I think I would have been like, Although I am a proponent of marriage. I say try it. For 50% of you, it's not going to work out, and that's okay. Try it anyway. But yeah, I'd like to do my own thing. Sometimes I'd be getting tired of people around me, even husbands. I'd be like, look, can I just do my own thing? Women, we have to be superwomen. We got to do this and that, and you're expected to manage a household and raise kids and run successful businesses. It's a lot of pressure out here in these streets, And then men, they expect you to be a kitty in bed. Meow. No, maybe a tiger. Rawr. I don't know. And sometimes you're just like, dude, can I just be by myself? I just want to sleep. I don't want to get up and be responsible for anybody or anything. But once you've signed up for it, you got to give it 100%. Because like I said, 50% of us ain't going to make it. My goodness. And I don't have the same perspective on divorce that probably a lot of people. A lot of people are like, oh my God, did you hear that she got a divorce? I'm like, yeah, and? She'll be fine. He'll be fine. Maybe even better. The kids will probably be happier because now there's no fighting and fussing in the household. So, yeah. We had a very low-key ceremony in Jamaica. I'll tell you how it went down, really. We were together for a couple years, and, Marlon is a family man. So I finally got to meet Mama Hill, and she loved me from the word jump. She's like, you guys know I was married before, but every mother-in-law has always loved me because they see like I'm just, I bring a lot to the table, honey child. So she was like totally in love with me. And she said, the dad was there. Of course, he loved me too. I think I probably remind her a lot of herself because we are very, very similar in a lot of respects. And she's very well educated. She's a hardworking woman. She actually has her birthday next month. She's going to be 73. And she's retired from her government job. She used to work. It's like their equivalent of DCFS. She was a regional manager. And, she went to school in the States and all kind of stuff. I think she has her master's degree in social work or something. But anyway, she is a real go-getter. So even now, she does her catering business and she is on the hustle. Every time I call her, she's busy. She's like, oh, I don't have no time to talk to you people. I'm busy. I'm like, oh, okay. So, once you meet the family, that's a serious thing in that family, because even the brothers were like, he didn't exactly introduce me as, they had to figure it out. They're like, who are you? We've never met. Marlon's never brought a girl home before. Who on earth are you? And I was like, well, okay. And, throughout the course of our trip, things just developed, and parents started asking questions like, you've been together for how long? And what's the next step? And I was like, next step. So we just decided one day. Nobody even knew that we were going to do it. None of our friends here. We were just like, in fact, his parents were witnesses, and his eldest brother gave his blessings, because in some ways I feel like they're still very traditional Indian people. So the parents spoke to the brother. What do you think of her? And he's like, yeah, I guess she's cute. She seems nice enough. Not like he really knew me, but so they're like, okay. And then Marlon's like, oh, we're going to do a day trip today. He was taking me all over the place. Every day was a day trip. So I was like, okay, day trip again today? Yep. And so that's how it went down. We just decided to have a very small, private, intimate ceremony at one of the hotels there on is that the East Coast? And we did it. And then we told the family afterwards, and everybody was shocked, like, what? Why didn't we get an invite? We're like, no, we didn't really want it to be this big production. We didn't want to waste money. And that's how we kind of saw it as well. Been there, done that, spent more than you had kind of vibe. I was like, no, we just wanted it really just low-key, chill. And then we had a little family like dinner afterwards. We're like, when we get to like 10 years, we'll do a big reception. Then we got to 10 years and we're like, nope, we're too busy trying to build sustainable assets and stuff to be wasting money on feeding people at some big fancy restaurant to have a reception. So we haven't even done it. Maybe when we get to 25 years, and we probably won't do it then either. Just priorities are different now, So, so that's what happened. Yeah. And we're like, okay, we're in it to win it. And he's I must say, he is an extremely committed person. Not everyone on that side of the pond, y'all know, Caribbean men, and especially Jamaicans, they got what do we say? How do we say? A roaming eye. And they just want to have a girl in every parish. He's not that person. He is so chill and just wants to enjoy. In fact, he always criticizes me and says, you need to be more emotionally committed. Like, he's that person. He wants to spend time with you. He wants to, me, sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm busy. I got to work. And he's like, Put time in the relationship, spend time with family. What are you doing? So he keeps me aligned in that way. So big shout out to Marlon. Somebody's like, is this Marlon? Yes, that very same one, Tony Chair. Family time, he says. Stop the work. It's family time. I'm like, okay. And Gigi's like she's a mini Marlon. She like, Dad said it's family time, Mom. What are you doing? I'm like, Lord have mercy. Okay. I said, listen, I'm an entrepreneur. My work schedule's different. I'd be up at midnight working because, it's not a 9-to-5 job. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the family keeping me centered and focus on that, because that's so important too, Work will come and go, as they say. St. Patrick's Day, that's not a bank holiday. We're talking about holidays when we get the day off. Good morning, Paula. Thank you so much. She says, love you and have a wonderful day. I appreciate it. Thank you all for all the anniversary greetings. Wee. Yes, thank you, Paula. Miss Ann, thank you. Somebody wish Marlon a happy anniversary today, too. Tell him he made it to 11 years. Mess with him, because I'm sure it has not been easy. I will admit, I'm probably not an easy person to live with. Yeah. I'm not so sure that I should say that, because I'm not a hard person to live with. But having said that, I would also say that I'm the type of person who doesn't put up with a lot. So from that perspective, I couldn't have no lazy, unmotivated men around me. We'd have a problem. I'd be like, hey, get out. Anyway, we'll probably grab some lunch today. We've been lunching a lot this week, actually. I had a photo shoot yesterday. Big shout out to Health City, Cayman Islands. So I was in full makeup. I'm going to show you guys a picture. Hold on. Let me see. Let me get a picture. So they had a makeup artist there. I've participated. This is like my second sort of thing that I've done with them. And I must say that they really go out of their way to have like these campaigns where, they get creative and they do stuff, but it's all about trying to educate people and trying to encourage people through creative advertising, creative social media to do the right thing and about, your health and stuff. So I think that that's important. So you might have seen that I shared a little video, some behind the scenes footage yesterday at the photo shoot. It was a video shoot and it was good. So thank you, Health City, for thinking of me and for wanting to include me in some of your campaigns. They're like, people listen to you, Sandy. We got to make sure, they're going to keep listening to you. And I'm like, oh, that's so nice of you. So somebody having a good laugh. They're like, hey, get out. Yeah, honey, chill. Thank you, Kev. I appreciate it. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Nathan. All the amazing messages. I'm going to show you a little picture of Marlon. I actually have a photo on my phone. I got to find it. That's kind of like like I said, we didn't do anything formal, no tuxedo, no wedding dress, all that kind of stuff that people, I guess if you're young and whatever, you do it once, but we were mature people at this stage. And so I'm going to find this photo because this is one of my favorite photos. It was taken on that day 11 years ago. And let me just see here. It was just us being chill and happy and, just off to the races, Let me see if I can find it. It's a fun photo. We were coming down the stairs at his brother's place when they lived in Jamaica and somebody snapped a photo and I really like it. Yeah. And then he would tell you a really funny story about how our daughter, who, by the way, some of you might not know this, who was conceived in Jamaica. Can you believe it? His dad set me up. We were trying for like a whole year. And then the dad was like, oh, come for a trip. And we're like, okay, let's go to Hillshire Beach. Okay. And we did that. And boy, I don't know what kind of thing they had in those oysters, but that seems to have done the trick. Next thing you know, here comes Gigi. I was like, what? All right, let me show you guys some pictures. Let's do some anniversary pictures, shall we? I know you guys want to see us when we were young and spry and looking fresh and fabulous. Hold on. We were traveling all over the place, going out. We were young and had no responsibilities. We could go to the parties. Look at this one. All dressed up, hair done, nails done, glowing. He's holding on tight. This was one, I think this is Panama. Can't remember. We're overdue for a Panama revisit. This was Coco. She was the baby back then. We were doing a little beach lime with some of his friends. And you know what is so funny? Can I tell y'all something? The first sort of photo of us kind of out and about in Cayman, guess who it was taken by? You guys are not going to believe this. This is so funny. I'm trying to find it real quick. Here we are at a friend's dinner party. I think this was the restaurant there in East End when Chef Remy had it. Oh, we loved Chef Remy. We still do. Chef Remy's amazing. I think this was Miss Maggie's birthday party, in fact. Yeah. So, I'm still not finding the one picture I'm trying to find. I'm finding everything else. Oh, look at my little Gigi. Oh my gosh. I love looking at baby pictures of her. All the little stages that she was going through. Oh, here's the picture. This is November of 2013. We had not too long started dating. And Graham Rankin took this picture. Graham, where you at? Yes, and I love it. It's one of my favorite pictures. There it is. Look at that. Yes, sir. I know I was holding on tight. And I'm like, got me a good one, honey chow. Graham, thank you for this picture. I absolutely love it. Doesn't he look so young there? I guess I look young too. Still trying to find that one picture that I'm actually supposed to be looking for. Lord have mercy. Oh, now can't find it. Let me have a quick perusal. Let me see. Yeah, I actually spoke to my mother-in-law last night. She's coming soon. She's going to be here. And she's like, oh, you know, just sort me out. This is when I'm free, I can free up my calendar. I was like, okay. I still can't find it. You know what? I bet I know how I can find it. Let me see. So Jamaica has over 3 million people. And I managed to find the prize. Even in his own family, I always joke with him. And I'm like, you know, not for nothing, but you're different. Different in a good way. He laughs because he knows what I mean. I'm like, are you sure you belong in this family? Are you sure you're with these crazy people? They're so much fun. Let me see now. I still can't find the picture, but I'm going to find it. I'll find it and show it to you guys because I know I'm looking on my my Facebook because I think I've shared it before, probably as an anniversary picture. So let me see. 1 year ago, I was sharing a tiramisu restaurant. Lord have mercy. We need to do better. 7 years ago, I was sharing R. Kelly crying. Ugh. Let me see. I did an anniversary thing in 2019. Oh, yes. We did like anniversary lunch there at Casanova's. No, that was Tyorkin. Let me see. Oh, here it is. I found it. I knew I was going to find it. Hold on. So, have a look at this. It's the way that he looks at me. Something he was whispering, sweet nothings in my ear. Yeah. And I was laughing at whatever the joke was. He's a joker, by the way. Really funny guy. Sometimes Gigi, when she was younger, she'd be like, is that a joke? Like she doesn't know all the time when he's being funny. And I'd look at her and I said, yeah. Bad dad joke, she says. Oh, look at that. So sweet. Yes. Look at how slim he was. I fattened him up a little bit. My goodness. All right. Enough about me, honey Cham. Thank you, Strong Wilt. Says happy anniversary. Wishing you many more to come. God bless you always and your husband. Thank you. He might need more blessings from God than me because I'm blessed every day. And so is he, but he does put up with me. So there you go. Miss Romelia in the house says, good afternoon, honey child. Thank you. Good afternoon. Wait a minute. What? It's still 7:59 in the morning. It's good morning. Patricia Blake is here. Fresh Joe in the house. Damaris, Andrew. Hi. Barbara G. Oh God, you come with this Gallus again? Hold on, did I get it right this time? Gallus. Oh God. Andrew says Jamaican parents. Marlon, where she come from? Cayman Islands. So this the one now. She can cook rice and peas and curry chicken. I'm not really the best at rice and peas. I'm so not gonna lie, but I do make a mean curry chicken. Plus, we do white rice with curd chicken, I'm going to be honest. Chris is in the house, says no more Ludi. We taking him to Jamaica Carnival to walk up his waistline. Gallus. I don't think Marlon has ever been to a carnival in his life. He's just not that kind of person. He don't wind up in those streets. He winds up where it matters. And that's not in public. Thank you very much. Where's my... I need a ka-chung. Not really that, but I needed one for like a joke. Like cha-ching. All right. Thank you, Miss Ann. Strong Will, you're absolutely right. No complaints from me, honey. I'm good. Thank you guys so much for all the amazing anniversary. Gallus. Gal, G-A-L-L-I-S-T. That's how you pronounce it. Gallus. Lord, not gal. Someone says not G-A-L. Gallus. Lord have mercy. It's just not meant to be something that I say very often, so I don't know. Andrew says Jamaica trip. You know what, Andrew? He's a Jamaican who does not have to go to Jamaica very often. And I must say, I don't mind that at all. He don't, but when we go, he makes up for it though. Cause he's like dragging me all over oh my God, this coast, that coast. He got to go see this friend that he not seen in forever. We have to do a beach liming, a this and a that. And oh my goodness, I'd be worn out when I come back. I'm like, oh, I need a vacation from the vacation. However, yeah. Some Jamaicans been here all 20, 30 years, and every weekend they're like, oh, I got to go. That is not him. Nope. Can't enjoy the beach anymore. Stories in the Star and Gleaner, but the vendors overcharging and price gouging. Aw. Donna says, when did you know? Ooh, relationship question. I like it. I'll tell you what I knew when he did not bring out the crazy in me. That's when I knew that this was different, because there's that side that is crazy, and it has exhibited itself in other relationships. And when I met him, it was just chill. He wasn't adding chaos to my life. And so I think that was a key sign. And I got to tell you the truth, the most incredible thing is the trajectory of my career, my life, my focus, everything has just been amazing since I have been in this relationship. And I think that also lets you know that you are aligned, of equal yoke. You know, we be trying to force, especially women, we be trying to force relationships with people who are not equally yoked with us, especially when it comes to like our mind or level of maturity or emotions, like all this stuff, which can be very, very complex. We be trying to force it and it just doesn't work. So I think that that's the key. Like he's the yin to my yang. And you know, we're different for sure, but it works. And I have been able to achieve in 10 years, I swear to you, in the past, well, you know, since we've been together, we've just been making boss moves like left, right, and center. So, you know, there he is. Such a cutie too, right? Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Strong Will says, Sandy, you're so extra. It's not you alone. Have a good husband just saying, aw, you got one too? Oh my goodness. Isn't that amazing? I love it. I love it. And he's up for a good adventure. He enjoys traveling. Let me show you a little picture with Gigi. This is, she was like almost 2. No, she was almost 2. Here, child, she had some curls. She still does, really, but look at this head of hair. She came out with a full head of hair, honey child. Look at that. She's so, oh my gosh. She's just a happy child. So funny. There you go, folks. Yeah. So here we are, 11 years in, living our best lives. And what can I tell you? It's like, it's simple in a way, you know, it's not complicated. There's nothing really to fight and argue about. The things that I fight and argue about are relatively like the junk drawer, how he likes to move stuff from one location to the next. Oh, this is a mess. And then he'll move it. And all he does is put it in another place where you can't see it. I'm like, dude, that's not addressing the clutter. But all those things are so incredibly silly, right? Yep. Loyal. I mean, you got to find a man who is loyal, who prioritizes family, not in the streets. Like these things are just really, really important. Oh, I got to show a picture of me and him and Kevin back in the day. And Kevin has been, a big shout out to Kevin. Kevin and Mary, you know, they've, Melanie, they've all been there from day one to see the whole, you know, emergence. Let me see. We got a lot of good pictures. Let me see here. Here's another one that's really fun. So this was us at, I want to say this was Skill's birthday party. Skills, this was your party way back when. Yeah, we dressed up for it. Look at Kevin in his gold jacket. Lord have mercy. Styling and profiling. Yes. And this was another birthday party or some kind of function. Yep. There we go. Thank you guys so much. Hi, Miss Debbie. Brown Sugar, thank you. Let's move on. We got so many important things to talk about, but yeah, you got to acknowledge when you have a good significant other. I think you have to acknowledge it, and you got to be like, you know what? I found a good one. Because they're not easy to find. It's not easy to find a good one, I'm telling y'all. Had to kiss a lot of frogs to get there, but there we go. Strong Will says Marlon doesn't need to go to Jamaica often because we don't have any side chick down there. You know, oh, Miss Tanya, good morning. Thank you so much. She says you met your soulmate, which is selected when each of you were born to complete each other. Aw, that's so sweet. Can I tell you, Do you guys want to hear how we met? Miss Tanya just reminded me. Do y'all want to hear the how we met story? Debbie says, are oysters on the menu today? That's like the only time I've actually had them, to be honest. I'm not really an oysters person. So definitely not on the menu today. Evelyn says, no, I have the best husband. I love that. That a pint, says Andrew. True love. Aw. Someone said to me just a couple days ago, you need to have that guy on, that a pint guy, and make him come on the show and like do a live for you where he just sits and go, that a pint, live and direct. Thank you so much, Miona. Appreciate it. Do you guys want to hear how we met? Or you're like, yeah, we're done with that conversation. Let's move on. Yes. And he loves dogs. To me, that was when Coco started to like him better than me. I think low key, she's like, I needed some male energy around here. I was like, That was the moment when I was like, okay. So we actually met at work. We were both working for the same company. And he was doing IT, obviously. I was doing some compliance contract work for them. And I used to, like where I sat, there was someone in accounts that sat like across from him. She was always like trying to talk to him. And it low-key made me feel uncomfortable. So I know he was uncomfortable. Where she's like, oh, I'm going to marry you and this and that. And I'd be like, ugh. I was sitting there rolling my eyes. I'm like, this is reverse sexual discrimination. Like you shouldn't be making people feel uncomfortable at work, talking about how you're going to marry them and all this kind of stuff. It was just weird and crazy. So anyway, I kind of was like, not really talking to him, just trying to stay focused and stay in my lane and do my own thing. And then there was another IT guy who was going to be helping me with something. And then he said to me, oh, he couldn't do it. This Jamaican guy. He's like, yeah, some things come up. He can't do it. But he's like, oh, I know someone who can. Like, he's really good and he'll be able to give you some advice on this and blah, blah, blah. So he was like, talk to Marlon. I was like, Marlon? He said, yeah. The guy who literally sits across from me. I was like, oh, okay. There he is. Don Marlon. Look at that. So I said, okay. And so I started talking to Marlon. And that's how we started talking to each other. And then I was like, he's kind of cute. Really interesting to talk to. And then, became friends. And then that led from one thing to the next. And then I remember the first day I was like, one day I was like, would you like to come over for spaghetti? I invited him over for spaghetti. And then he claims his version of the story is that I kidnapped him and put him in my basement. And that was it. Of course, there are no basements in Cayman. Nobody kidnapped anybody. But I think low key, he kind of liked the spaghetti. And then he met Coco. And then, from there, what can I say? Look at that. Crazy. Yep, spaghetti and oysters. It's all these food things that make things happen. I tell you. Kiki's like laughing out loud. Woo, the spaghetti. What a hot mess. Somebody says, I believe the basement story. That's his version of it. Yeah, he's always like, she kidnapped me in the basement. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. All right, let's move on. We got so much to talk about today. So here is a little bit of madness that you're not going to believe. First of all, my apologies. We're doing a rewrite on a story because it is a little bit confusing. And so we are going to rewrite it. I've asked Renee. Renee does an amazing job. And I think I've mentioned this before that she writes a lot of the stories. I just send her the content and she writes a lot of the stories. But sometimes there are nuances and information that she doesn't always get. And it's actually my fault because I should have, when I sent her this story yesterday, I should have done a better job at explaining the significance of what I was sending her. And I didn't. So we're going to fix that story. Just quickly, some quick photos from yesterday. There's behind the photo shoot, behind the scenes. These are the other young ladies that are in the campaign. So fun. Big shout out to Health City this morning. Had us looking all good. Look at that. Yes, sir. Take that. And by the way, a little birdie told me, Rebecca, who's there in the beautiful golden dress, Shamari trying to run competition, the steps competition with Rebecca, and she's outstepping him. When I see those legs of hers, I'm like, oh, I can tell she does a lot of walking. And this was the two of us yesterday taking a little selfie. I'm going to show that to Gigi later on because she loves to see pictures. She's like, what did you do today, Mom? Tell me about your day. All right. So Renee is going to fix the story on the small businesses because this is actually a significant story for another reason. So she's just going to tweak that and fix that. And I told her the headline needs to be changed. The angle, the focus of the story needs to be changed, and probably even the picture needs to be changed as well. So she's going to mend that. However, yesterday we left off talking about the purchase, if you will, the purchase story with CNS. And I have an update for you guys because, in fact, I don't know how Wendy, who's normally really, really good with her, checking and cross-checking, she kind of got this story wrong. So it turns out the story about One Capitol Place, and I know some of you were in the comments cussing and carrying on, but this government trying to bail out Noel Barton. Oh my God. Well, first of all, let me say this. That's not what's happening. However, if the government, which they are not, was trying to bail someone out, don't you think it should be, I hear thunder out there, don't you think it should be a Caymanian businessman as opposed to bailing out somebody else? Like, who else would they be bailing out? I'm just saying. I mean, how old is Noel Barton? Anybody knows how old he is? He must be at least in his 60s or 70s, right? He's made his contributions to Cayman. He's, a businessman. So I kind of had a thought about it. Maybe he's not the most popular person in the world because I think we all see him as he's a capitalist. He's one of those, capitalist Caymanians. Well, he's done his thing. In the end, looks like it's not going to be the most successful ending, but, success comes and goes, I suppose. But the building actually isn't sold. So yes, John, we mentioned that yesterday with NCB. So the first thing is the building isn't sold. Has Wendy corrected the story or has she taken the story down? Because the whole premise of the story was that the building was sold, but the building isn't sold. So if the building isn't sold, then the rest of the story is she started out by saying, it looks like she's updated it, but she still says CNS has learned that the National Coalition for Caymanians administration has acquired One Capitol Place. And that's actually not true. They haven't acquired it. Noel is 76. Thank you, Anthony. So they haven't acquired One Capitol Place. They are doing their due diligence towards a possible acquisition. And all of my sources have revealed that it is early days yet. So, government can't just jump up and purchase something on a whim. They can't just be like, oh, we're going to grab a $50 million bill or $10 million bill, even a $5 million bill. right? They have to do lots of things to get to that point. The process, I understand, started in December to make the necessary inquiries. By the way, here's something we need to know. This is important. Apparently, a foreign group wanted to, they wanted to purchase it, and they were going to form an LCCL, I think, to do so. However, that fell through. Interesting. So I'm kind of shocked, really, that this building, which is a sizable commercial building, probably one of the larger ones in central Georgetown, almost landed in the hands of foreign nationals. What? Who was trying to buy this building? The Chinese? The Russians? The Saudis? Trump? Who was trying to get our building? So it's not sold. So that's the first bit of corrective information. Good morning, caller.
Morning.
Yes,
How are
ma'am.
you?
Yes, hi, I'm good. How are you?
Been a minute.
Oh, I know. I was trying to recognize the voice for a quick second there.
I don't understand. You can't please Caymanians. If the foreigners had bought it, they would have said, why government didn't try to buy that building?
I know.
And now government try and buy it and they complaining like, I don't understand. I honestly do not understand. I think it's a great thing if government is trying to buy the building and buy up more properties around Grand Cayman instead of just letting the whole entire island be owned by foreigners.
Yeah, it's crazy. I agree with you.
That's my 2 cents.
I agree. I think your 2 cents probably worth about 10 cents today.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Here's the truth. I agree with that caller. You cannot please Caymanians. And you know what? That's a broader conversation that we need to have. I actually was talking to someone recently who had done something and they were getting a lot of pushback. And I said to them, I said, let Auntie tell you something, honey child. In this life, if you live it to get accolades from people, just do you. I reflect on my life and my experiences. If I had listened to people when I first started CMR, we wouldn't even be here now, honey child. Don't pay people no mind, right? You know that you're doing the right things, the right reason. The noise, the clutter, just they're gonna talk no matter what. Just let them talk. Make them go ahead, honey child. Nothing you can do but them people. But you're right. You can't live your life by trying to please other people because that's just not gonna work. So anyway, it's not sold. They haven't purchased it. And I think if you've ever done a sizable acquisition of any kind, and sizable, for some of us, that's a $500,000 house, you will know that you need to do your due diligence. The bank requires it. If you're borrowing money from them, they want to make sure that their investment is going to be safe. And so that's important. Yeah. So they have a long ways to go before this can be a done deal. And things happen, just like the last sale fell through. This sale, or attempt at a sale, could also not make it to the finish line. So relax. All of you people here commenting and up in arms, oh, they're trying to bail out and all bought. Now, stick a pin. Because the whole point of mentioning NCB in the story was certainly to imply that there was a significant connection there between the selling of this building and NCB. So I had questions, about what's really going on. The article did admit the property is owned by Kindred Investments Limited. It didn't say limited in the story, but it's Kindred Investments Limited. And they weren't able to get any information on Kindred Investments. They had a registration number, but said there's no open source information for Kindred Investments. In other words, they don't know who owns it. Well, Auntie's here to tell you who in part owns it, because mentioning NCB is important if that was actually an accurate reflection. Because then again, the next logical step is, NCB's involved. They're having all sorts of big financial problems. And is this really trying to bail out a friend or Noel Bodden because he knows somebody and he's friends with? They made all kind of accusations. Oh, he's friends with Minister J. And I saw comments. People sent me a screenshot video of comments. Oh, Kurt Tibbetts is in the mix. Poor Kurt Tibbetts. He's still getting blamed for a lot. And I'm not saying he's not in these developers good, because he is. But they had his name in the mix. And speculating about this acquisition. Well, let me ask you to put a little break on your speculations, because here is what I have been able to find out. And I'm not in a position to tell you who my sources are, but the sources are as good as they can get. Let me put it that way. Even government, I was asking the political arm and government about this stuff, and they couldn't get me these answers. So this information didn't come from government. This is not tainted by them. I want to make that very, very clear, because some of y'all are like, well, I think Sandy like this government too much and she can believe anything they say. No. I don't believe anything anybody say about certain things. I want to fact check it. So one response I got was that I said, is the property owned by NCB? Like current NCB? The person said, no, we property manage it. Because remember, they offer property management services. I said, okay. Then I asked about Ian White, Noel Bodden, shareholders in Kindred. This source said that there are a number of shareholders in Kindred who've had the building since the early 1990s. NCB Homes has a minority interest. And then I said, okay, that's not the same. NCB Homes is different than the NCB. Obviously, this is Noel Bodden. He is connected in a way because NCB are his initials, right? So then I started to dig even further, and I was able to clarify, because I was curious to know whether or not it was a forced sale connected to the issues of NCB. I can confirm that it is not a forced sale. The current shareholders who've owned the building for quite some time decided to sell the building. NCB Homes Limited owns less than 10% of the building. Okay. Now, NCB Homes Limited, which I'm assuming Noel Bodden then has an interest probably in that, if they own less than 10% of the building, this not bailing him out. And that NCB Homes Limited is different than the NCB that is having the issues that they're having. Yes, they both carry his initials because he was a funding member, I suppose, shareholder of both. So the majority shareholders, whoever they are not NCB Homes Limited and not Noel Bodden. And they were the ones who made the decision to sell after owning the building for over 30 years, right? Government only started to inquire about it because apparently, I'm assuming the previous administration either didn't know about it or didn't care about it. So this government must have heard the sale fell through, right? So they only started to get involved after the original purchasing company or purchaser, which is a foreign company, had to advertise for an LCCL in order to own the building. So they're paying attention on who's trying to get an LCCL. So when they realize now that this company, this foreign company, was trying to get an LCCL just to own the building, because they're probably going to put it in a holding company and set all that up. For some reason, the contract was canceled with the original foreign company, and then government became interested and are now in talks, probably have made an initial offer, because you have to do an offer to purchase, but then making an offer to purchase doesn't mean that you've actually purchased it. Lots of things can happen between an offer to purchase and actually closing on the facility and getting to the bottom line. So, I think CNS kind of prematurely put this out and didn't have all the details, but then made mention of certain things in the article that made the reader jump to certain conclusions. And jumping to conclusions is definitely a national sport here in the Cayman Islands. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. But in this instance, it's completely wrong. Okay. There are a total of like 7 shareholders. And again, Nalbaden is not a majority shareholder. All right. So there you go. So hopefully that has clarified that story. And now we can have some clarity going forward. Okay. So sometimes it takes a minute to flush out a story and to figure out what's really going on. And I must say that I appreciate now when we reach out to people, when I reach out to people, and these are people who are in the know, these are business people, money people, established people. There was a time when, back in the day, when we first got started, they wouldn't even entertain me. Now, they tell me everything I need to know. Details. Here's a document to prove it. There you go. Thank you. I don't reveal my sources because we can get factual information without telling you who I got it from. Because y'all just need to trust me that the relationship that I now have with these individuals, it's not a personal relationship. I don't talk to them ordinarily, It is strictly I need to understand what transpired here, what's actually going on here, who owns it, who doesn't own it, et cetera, et cetera. And they answer the questions directly and honestly, and that's all that matters to me. So, and they always answer off the record like that, don't mention my name. I don't want to be, on Mall Road in that way, but let's set the record straight. So it's important for us to set the record straight. Someone just commented, a civil servant, I should add, who works in the building, says government needs it because they're out of space in the government admin building. And already people are on top of each other. So I hear you. Yeah. All right, let me see. Good morning, Stephanie. Let me see some voice notes. This person said, please don't need to post it, please. Huh? What? Well, why are you sending me this if I'm confused? Okay. All right, good morning. I'm heading to NYC today, but I will send your package with so-and-so tomorrow in her backpack. Does that work? Okay, sure. Good morning. All right. Okie dokie. Let me see. Thank you. Happy 11th anniversary. Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's pronounced Gallus. Lord have mercy. I think we just have to admit that I'll never get it right. Okay. So yeah, someone said, I'm trying to find that message now. Someone said, oh yes, government has to buy it. The GAB is full. Anonymous told you so. Yeah, I think we kind of all know that about the government building already. Thank you all so much. Good morning. Would like to have a call with you next week to go over. Okay. Somebody wants to spend some money. Yay. Let me just see. Oh, please send out condolences. Oh, well, let me not mention her yet, because like if she just died, some people may not know. So I'll send it to Renee, make her prepare the story, but we're not going to probably post it quite yet. We'll wait a few hours. Okay. All right. All right. So I feel confident that we've addressed the story. I'm not here to beat a dead horse. And I think we can move on. I think that there's a very valid argument for why government wants to acquire this. Now that we have put to bed the misinformation that somehow this is them trying to bail out Nalbad, which I told you guys yesterday. Even if he was the majority shareholder, there's no bailing him out. The situation that they're in, we will eventually probably have to get there and talk about the full thing. It's not a good financial situation at all, and especially at 76, Lord knows, I wouldn't want this kind of financial stress in my life. But there's no bailing them out. They're going to have to just throw in the towel and probably call it a day. Bankruptcy. Natasha Bunting in the house. By the way, today is Natasha's birthday. Whoop, whoop. So let us wish a happy birthday to Natasha. And hope that you enjoy your special day. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Yes. Did she just die? Like this morning? Let me see. The building would be a great police station instead of renting the RBC building. Government should buy it. It's a good deal. It's a buyer's market right now. Yeah. I mean, and I think that building would be more than sufficient space, even if you dedicated it to the RCIPS. You guys got to go see how much money they're probably paying over by RBC to see, yeah, probably makes good sense. Mm-hmm. All right. By the way, I figured out, well, I haven't figured it out, but I did restart the computer and that fixed whatever little audio thing we were having on the radio yesterday. So that's now resolved. Yes, happy birthday to the beautiful Natasha. Let's talk about the AIDS situation. So I have to admit that I was not listening to the proceedings because, a lot of days I just can't be listening. But afterwards, I do try to get a, what do you call it? A summary. Renee listens for the purposes of, getting stories, writing stories. and so forth. Oh, you guys asking who's the beautiful Natasha? Hold on, let me show you. Caymanian Beauty. She's gonna be like, why are you showing my picture? Ta-da! Happy birthday to you. I can't sing. Oh my gosh. Can I tell you how bad my singing is? First of all, have you ever seen, I gotta ask Marlon to share this video. You ever seen people who, there's a few of them who do it. They're really, really funny. They go around singing in public. They have their headsets in, and then you hear the music, and they're singing in public, but the public can't hear the music. So without the music, you know, you sound really, really horrible, right? Like you're not carrying a tone. It doesn't sound good. So I have a few of those that I follow because they're like really funny. So they'll be like, you hear the beat, you hear the music, but in their head, they sound amazing. But in real life, to other people, they're just yelling and screaming and they sound horrible. There's a couple guys that do it and they're pretty funny. So anyway, the other night I was here with my headphones on singing something and Marlon said, oh, I gotta, he said, Kevin, come here. Let me show you what Sandy sounds like. So he picked up this scene from a movie where the lady is doing the same thing. So in the sound booth, you know, she thinks she's like killing it. She sounds amazing. And then when the camera actually goes in the sound booth with her, she's like squawking and like saying the most. It's like, oh my God, no, don't do that. Don't sing. You sound horrible. That's me. I own it, you know. I'm like, listen, I know I sound horrible. That's okay. God couldn't give me all the gifts out there. My goodness, how unfair would that have been? To be a talker and a singer? Oh, you know, the good Lord was like, no. We gotta spread the love around. We give this woman all that. And next thing you know, she might be competing with Beyonce. Or what's the other lady's name there? Whitney Houston or somebody. I don't know. Depends on what kind of skills he gave me. So yes, I can't sing, but it is heartfelt, Natasha, when I say I wish you the happiest of birthdays today. All right. Thank you so much, Diana. Appreciate it. Lavana is in the house. Ask Cherian if it's foreigners or the vaccine killed other person. Who? Oh, geez, I'm peace. I had to think about that. I'm like, what? Oh, child. Hello. Lord have mercy. Yep, she'll say it's something. What a hot mess. Okay, let's talk about this HIV situation. And I'm going to tell you that I am, ooh, what? Okay, stick a pin. We're going to get to that story. I'm going to tell you guys, you know, I'm all about trying to learn and do better. And the fact that we need to do better with our health. Hope NCB is not in trouble. Miss Margie, have you been paying attention? This is what I got to ask you now. Are you paying attention to class? Yes, they're in trouble. NCB? Is that a real question? Okay, they're in trouble. We not get into it today, but yes, they are. All right, let's move on. Before we move on, I wanted our listeners to hear this. It's kind of a funny skit from yesterday, but you guys couldn't hear it. So I've uploaded it again. And then I want to tell you a health tip. I feel like we got to do these often. Listen to this health tip, and then we're going to move on to the HIV story, okay?
Our personal trainer is not African.
I am very tired. Oh, garnish. This one is garnish, eh? Wow, that's a lot of garnish. And where's the food? The food, the one that this one is garnishing. Eh? This is the food. But can this qualify as food? No, this cannot be the food. But where is the actual food? Where is the fufu? Huh? But this is grass. No, I don't eat grass. I am a human being. How can you come and carry grass for me to eat? Are we feeding rabbits? Are there rabbits somewhere here? This is the food that my food eats. This is not my food. I just did exercise and I'm hungry. You are bringing me grass. Or is this a sacrifice? I don't understand. It is... You Americans, it is only in your society that you people have normalized dysfunction so much that you cannot even tell the difference between food for human beings and food for animals. This is grass. How can you come and carry grass for me to eat like I am a rabbit? I am not a cow. No, please go and carry the actual food for me. This one I cannot eat it. If you have ugali, I will eat. Bring me some rice. I don't know whose front lawn you went and butchered with machete to come and bring me this sad and pitiful sacrifice of grass. But kindly return it to their front lawn and bring me, if you have rice, even some small rice, or if you have ugali or fufu, I will eat any of them. In fact, if you have Ghanaian jollof, that will be my preference. But even in this moment of desperation in my life, even Nigerian jollof I will eat. Next time, if you want to insult me, my friend, just slap me twice in my cheeks and go. Is it because I could not do the 50 push-ups for you? I told you I can only do 35. I will give you the other 15 tomorrow, but you don't have to insult me with sad grass that you want me to be eating. Is it because I'm coming for diet? I am coming for diet. I did not come to die. It is diet. This one, are you trying to kill me?
OMG, too funny. That's a Nigerian trying to eat a salad. The personal trainer gave her a salad, and she's like, "Oh, what is this? You're trying to kill me? Give me some rice, please." That's Caribbean people too, child. They'd be looking at you like, "What? What are you trying to give me salad for?" Yep, she said, "I did not come to die. I come to diet." All right. I don't even know what their jollof rice is. Oh, I might have to go to Nigeria and eat some food. I don't know nothing about it. But anyway. So listen, a lot of us were shocked last night to hear that there were discussions in Parliament about people being allowed into the country who are HIV positive. But I want to put this story in context because last night, as I was getting messages about this, before we even got to the point where the story was up, I was low-key confused. Oh, I wanted to say something before then. There's a reason why I played that video. Do some research, folks, on creatine and get a good creatine supplement and add it to your diet. Yes. There's good research out there now, but the benefits of creatine. And here's one that popped up for me this morning. Women who use creatine experience depression scores reductions of up to 63%. Apparently, creatine has a lot of good things for the brain. So emerging research is suggesting that creatine supplementation may significantly reduce symptoms of depression, particularly in women, with some studies having reported up to 63% reduction in depression scores among participants. Notably, improvements have been observed within 1 to 2 weeks, which is faster than the typical onset of many traditional antidepressants. Creatine is believed to support brain energy metabolism by increasing the availability of cellular energy in the form of ATP. This enhanced energy support may help improve mood, cognitive function, and overall emotional resilience. So check it out, folks. The research is out there, and it seems to have a good positive effect on your mitochondrial function, especially when it comes to the brain. I actually bought one, but I have to start taking my supplement. 5 milligrams of powder a day. You just put it like in water or some kind of beverage. and drink it. Okay. Yep. All right. Thought I'd share that health tip with you for the day. All right. So this HIV story is of course disturbing. To think that we're allowing people to come into the country who are HIV positive. But I'm busy trying to fact check this. So this is another one of those stories that we reported on it because it's showing up in Parliament. They're having a discussion about it. But I want to caution people, because I'm still digging, that I don't know the source of this, okay? The source is MP Chris Saunders. Don't have me choke on my tea this morning, right? Somebody in my CMR group says, I know you don't like Chris, but maybe you can invite him on the show to talk about this. I was like, what? What he had to say in Parliament is enough for us to have a discussion, certainly. But I need some facts and figures. Because as someone who is out here playing P. Diddy and Puff Daddy all in one, and R. Kelly in these streets himself, he seems to know something about this that the rest of us don't know. Maybe there's a reason why he knows. I don't know. I'm just saying. The dude is a freak, and it's not even low key, and it's not even really behind closed doors. He's like freaky. Right now, he's the freakiest MP that we have. So I have to take it with a grain of salt, right? Because I don't know. I don't know what he's talking about. So let me tell you what he said. So he said that there are concerns about HIV positive individuals being granted work permits after one MP, Chris Saunders, revealed that at least 6 people were allegedly infected by a work permit holder carrying the virus in Cayman Brac. Now, I have spoken to people in government to say, is that true? And they don't know anything about it. So he's allowed to say whatever he wants in Parliament because they have parliamentary privilege. You know, nobody can't sue him for defamation. He can't be sued for misinformation or anything else. But I need to know where this is emanating from and where it's coming from. So we actively have sent, I think they've already been sent. If not, it's happening this morning. I've sent questions myself to ministers, the premier, everybody trying to say, and even civil servants, where is this coming from? How accurate is this information? Because what what he was saying essentially is that some big law firm, I don't know who that would be, the government is afraid of them, and it came up, and apparently the government bended on one knee and said, oh, well, you know, there's discretionary power, which there is actually. That part of it is actually accurate, but that they're no longer, that they've allowed people on discretionary power to come into the country who they know are HIV positive. That low key to me doesn't even make any sense. Right? And then supposedly they just like monitor them and follow them. Again, none of it is making any sense about the process, because you can be turned down for a positive TB test, tuberculosis, but you're not going to be turned down for having HIV. Let me tell you what I think is actually happening instead. It is a discretionary power, and it always has been. That is factual. So on a matter of fact, it is possible, I suppose, that someone could come in and make an argument to the CMO, and I think it's the decision and the law remains with the chief medical officer, and the chief medical officer can say, oh, you're HIV positive, but you're okay. We trust that you're not going to go around fornicating and sleeping with people, so therefore you can come into this country. What? Cayman has one of the highest instances of extramarital relations, people cheating, people fornicating, than probably anywhere in the world. I saw everything 345. Big shout out to those guys over there. They made me laugh yesterday. It was posted on Instagram, I think, where they said something like, hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Quite a number of people come to Cayman with their original spouses and their marriages. What does it say? Where is that? Where's that post? Okay. I don't know how accurate this is, but I feel like it's probably not far off. A recent survey, I don't know where this survey came from because I don't think anyone has really done a survey, but here we go. A recent survey indicates that 80% of couples who relocate to the Cayman Islands ultimately become separated. An additional 75% of those who sent for a partner also experience separation. I don't know that it's that high, but I do feel that it's probably a good percentage. And we see it all the time. I don't know who's doing a survey on this. I kind of feel like nobody actually has done a survey, but it's probably 50, 60%. It's pretty high. You know, you come here, sun, fun, lots of women, lots of men. And even if they don't end up separating, you know, they're doing all kind of stuff on the down low, all kind of partners, the most, whatever. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of fornicating. It's a lot of hot messes. It's just a lot. Now, what I think is actually happening, and this is where the government has an obligation to tighten things, not loosen the reins, is that when you were coming in on a temporary work permit, there was no requirement for you to like do a full medical. So you did very, very basic things that are temporary. And I think the gap is in the temporary, not requiring that. And I'm trying to remember, I know there've been discussions about changing this. Had they changed it yet? But I think that that gap in what was required from a medical perspective was allowing people to come in here who were HIV positive. And then, you know, these are people working in bars or school teachers or doctors or whoever the heck they are, but still out here sleeping with the most people that they can and starting to spread stuff. So I wouldn't doubt that there have been people who have, you know, been infected, because I've heard of one woman who was sleeping with every Tom, Dick, Harry, and probably Samantha, and, you know, spreading it because she had it. But I also heard that once they found out that she had it, they promptly got her off the island. So I don't know. The Minister of Health and Wellness, the Honorable Catherine Ebanks Wilkes, explained that the process was, you know, managing work permit holders who've been granted permits while HIV positive. So she got a question, and she explained that when a person receives a reactive HIV screening result, whether through a private provider or HSA, the case is then reported to the HIV coordinator within Public Health Department, and the coordinator then contacts the patient to arrange confirmation testing, provide counseling, initiate contact tracing, and implement other public health follow-up measures. And once a test is confirmed, the test results, the medical officer of health formally notifies the director of WRC in writing, advising that the individual has been diagnosed with a communicable disease of public health interest, and then WORC contacts the person to determine whether they have adequate insurance coverage to meet all costs associated with their condition. She didn't exactly say that the person wouldn't be able to get another work permit, because, I mean, that area doesn't really fall under her. However, I would have thought that a communicable disease, and let me be very clear, it's not just here in the Cayman Islands. There's lots of people, lots of countries, I should say, where a communicable disease is a reason to deny entry It's a reason to deny residency, even in the US. If you've got a communicable disease, there's a whole list of them, not just tuberculosis. They have a right to refuse entry based on that. So I'm trying to dig into this a little bit more. And of course, what you also have is you have individuals who, once they take their HIV medication, their viral load, we were talking about this last week, their viral load becomes undetectable. But apparently what I've learned is just because your viral load is undetectable, that does not mean that you can't spread it. Isn't that wild? Because you're still able to infect other people. But your viral load is such that an HIV test wouldn't test positive. This is why y'all need to be careful out in these streets. Yeah, boy. I'm just saying. HIV is no longer the death sentence it was, but Lord. So then Michael Miles joined the conversation and on the permit side, and he outlined WORC's process for handling confirmed HIV permit holders, where he stated that if a person cannot afford the required medical treatment or has uncontrolled HIV, WRC may refuse a new work permit or revoke an existing one, with each case being assessed individually. So apparently there's no general policy of it's an automatic thing. They are doing it on a case-by-case basis. But it seems like the criteria for them to deny it has to be that they cannot afford the required medical treatment or they have uncontrolled HIV. So, I mean, if you have insurance, I guess there's still co-pays, and I don't know how expensive these antiviral medications are here in the Cayman Islands, but presumably there is, I mean, here's the thing though, it shouldn't just be if you can afford it. I think that they're going to have to look at your lifestyle. So not for nothing, but if you're working as a barmaid, let's be honest, unfortunately, a lot of them come here and the sole purpose that they come here is to try to make as much money as possible. These bars hire them on minimum wage, and then they're like, okay, you figure it out. You work your magic to get some tips stuffed in your bubbies or whatever, right? And so a lot of them, it's not even like a secret. It's known that a lot of them are side hustling as prostitutes. I mean, they might not call themselves a prostitute, but it's a job and it's a side hustle. So I'm going to call it side hustle prostitution. And so, I guess they're maybe trying to find a mean squeeze, but they're sleeping with all sorts of people. And some of them are doing it right at the establishments. They just go in the bathroom and kaboom. So, I mean, I think reckless behavior like that, if it's brought to the attention of WRC, is something that we should have a look at. Now, that's going to be the question of the day, right? This is going to be our poll question of the day. We're going to put it in the channel. Do you think, or do you believe that an HIV diagnosis should be an automatic revocation of your work permit? Let me just. Should equate to an automatic revocation of a work permit. So what that means is that only Caymanians can be allowed to get AIDS or HIV, my apologies. Because let me be very, very serious about this. There are Caymanians who have it, who are living with this disease. They're managing it. But some of them are also very, very reckless. It's not just foreigners who are being reckless. Some of them are being very reckless too. And they're out there having partners that they're not telling people their HIV status. By the way, have we made that a criminal offense? Have we made that a criminal offense to, like, if you knowingly have unprotected sex with someone and you have HIV and you don't tell them? To me, that should be an attempted murder charge. You got to tell people, because there has to be informed consent. You can't be out here putting your little stick and other things and not tell people of your status. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Sandra. How you doing?
Morning, honey child. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good.
I'm hearing the conversation this morning about the HIV situation there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that not nothing new, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's been going on. That's been going on for years and years and years. And I've called talk shows in the past, and I have expressed my feelings about it, and it was like I was ignored, and I was talking foolishness and all that kind of stuff. Now I don't know if that's true about the situation in the Cayman Braca, and I think
I mean,
this is the first time I'm hearing it this
I
morning.
wouldn't necessarily doubt it. I gotta be honest with you. I wouldn't necessarily doubt it. But like I said, how they got it now is I think it's that, that lapse in the when people can get a temporary, But anyway, how would you vote on this poll question today? Do you think if someone tests positive that they should automatically have their work permit taken from them?
Yeah, exactly. But I tell you that something now what we're really going to call and what we're really going to say that they're letting them, even if you got AIDS and you apply for your full-time permit, right? Like a 1-year permit where you have to do a health exam and all that kind of stuff. Even if you got AIDS, they can still let you in here as the law stand now, you know. I don't know if you know that.
Well, this is what they're saying is they have discretionary power.
Yeah, okay. Well, they might have discretionary powers, whatever that mean, but they're letting them in because they're saying now, because I brought this up in the past already, I tell you, and they're saying now it's a violation of that person's human rights. It's discriminatory because you see, okay, if somebody got AIDS now, remember the guy or HIV, they got all kind of medication up there now, so they could take a medication that it doesn't transmit. That's what they're saying. That if you got AIDS or HIV, there's medication on the market now that you could take, and it isn't transmittable. You could have sex with anybody in the world, how many partners you want, and you're not gonna transmit it. That's what they say. That's what the drug claiming, and that is a drug from pharmaceutical companies, a worldwide drug, because George Soros is in charge of all of those drugs. He's the millionaire tycoon that is into that AIDS drug through the pharmaceutical companies. So if somebody come in here with AIDS and they tested positive, they just got how paperwork or whatever saying, well, I taken this injection from this from whatever, and the AIDS or the HIV can't be transmitted, and they're gonna allow them to go in. They're gonna stop that permit and say, all right, you could come in. Georgetown Hospital also gives the medication in the morning for people that is on AIDS or HIV. So you could go there, Georgetown, and they're giving a lot of these people that is here on work permits, they're giving a lot of these people drugs. I don't know if some of them getting it for free or some of them paying it, Georgetown Hospital through their health insurance or whatever to get these drugs from Georgetown Hospital. So it's a money making something too. So that's what they're saying. Well, okay, then if they can't bring their own drugs, they could get the drugs here at the Georgetown Hospital and be selling them the drugs. So be making money. That's good for Cayman economy. That's how the previous administration looked at it, and it's been that way maybe for the last 20 years. That's been happening for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really new. But if I had to make a choice, and it definitely not, you wouldn't come in here, because what happens if you don't take that, if you're not taking the medication or whatever, then knows what happened,
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're not carrying up the health insurance and all that kind of stuff. When people get sick and all that, when people are sick with HIV and all that kind of stuff, your health insurance going up. You got paid extra for all that. So that's all I wanted to say. And it Planet AIDS in Cayman. Planet AIDS is here in Cayman. All right.
Thank
all
you.
Right,
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. 936-2626. The phone lines are open. It is an interesting situation. Let me make a corrective statement, because couldn't quite remember if what I was saying was accurate. So I had to fact check myself. Antiviral HIV medication can reduce the risk of transmission to effectively zero, but only after it has fully suppressed the virus to undetectable levels, and as long as it is taken consistently and correctly. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of people fall down. So remember last week I was talking about the guy in the States, his wife died. She had cancer and she was fighting cancer, and then they couldn't understand why she was having these really weird symptoms, like losing her memory. She couldn't remember who her kids were. She was, all this other stuff that wasn't indicative of someone who has a cancer diagnosis. They're like, something else is going on. And eventually a physician figured out that her husband had infected her from years before, and she didn't even know it. Now, here's the crazy thing. She had caught him cheating. He had stepped out of the marriage, and she asked him to get an HIV test, right? And because he was an antiviral medication, the test results came back negative. Listen, the test results came back negative for him, but he still infected her. Isn't that wild? So you can have someone that you're with and you think that they are healthy, that they don't have this virus. And because they are taking their medication at that time correctly, the test result would come back HIV negative. But then if they stop taking it correctly, their viral loads go up, they can infect you. So I guess on the one hand, what is really going on here is that you can't trust 100% that an HIV test means that they don't have the virus. Whoa. Undetectable. So health agencies will say, because they've got some large studies, HPTN 052 and others found that a 93 to 96% reduction in transmission overall, and no linked sexual transmission once the positive partner's virus was stably suppressed on ART. That's the modern antiretroviral therapy, ART, right? So based on that, health agencies now state that undetectable equals untransmittable. U equals U. That's like the medical lingo. So people with HIV who maintain an undetectable viral load on ART do not sexually transmit HIV. The problem is, if someone is undetectable equaling untransmittable, right? And for some reason, that viral load rises and then they become transmittable, and you're with them and you get it, they don't tell you. This is why consent, there should be a law, if there isn't already in this jurisdiction, that whether it's undetectable or not, they should tell you. Because if they don't tell you and they're not taking their medication for a little bit and their viral loads go up, right? And then they infect you, it is a death sentence for you if you do not know. If you do not know, that is a death sentence for you. Because if you don't know, you can't go get the modern antiretroviral therapy to keep your loads down, right? And pretty much you can now live a really long time on these medications. Like you can live a relatively normal life as long as you're getting the medication and you're taking it as directed. Here's another important thing to know, that once you start taking the ART, treatment does not instantly stop transmission. So there's a risk, especially at the early stages of diagnosis, where you first diagnose, you've got to wait for the medication to start to do its thing with you. So if you were just diagnosed, you found out, you didn't know, you weren't taking any medication. Your partners that you have currently are at the highest risk because you have not yet gotten enough of the ART in your system to bring the viral load down and to have it be undetectable and remain that way by continually using the medication as it should. So U equals U applies to sexual transmission. Okay? Let me be clear, because this is important. Sexual transmission doesn't cover other types of transmission. How many of you knew that? So U equals U, undetectable equals untransmittable, your viral load, that only covers sexual transmission. It doesn't cover needle sharing. It doesn't cover breastfeeding. And apparently those things have their own risk and guidelines. So it is interesting, but I guess, we're not going to get into too much details here about the sexual part of it, but I'm assuming that normal intercourse, and there are some types of intercourse that are more high risk than others. And I have to wonder, I don't have the details on this. I mean, I could certainly look it up, but, look it up yourselves. I wonder if the undetectable changes depending on the type of sexual activity that you're having. Let me ask the question. Depending on the type of sex, the type of sexual activity. Let's see. I kind of wonder about that. But anyway, the other things like needle sharing, probably direct blood contact and so forth, I think that might be different. Like your viral load in those areas might be different, or even breastfeeding. So they have a different criteria. So not only should you be taking your medication as instructed, but you should also be getting viral load tests as recommended to confirm that they remain undetectable. So the idea there is you should be getting these tests on a regular basis. Okay. So you need to be tested. I don't know how often, but you need to ask your physicians, your clinicians, that type of question. So if you have one HIV negative partner and an HIV positive partner, you should also be discussing prevention like PrEP and condoms, especially during the period where the viral load is confirmed undetectable. So, there's still things that you might want to be doing to protect yourself. If you're pregnant, you have a baby, needle-related transmission, you need to look into a few of those. So it says that U equals U does not change by the type of sexual activity. If a person's HIV is truly undetectable and has been stable on treatment, there is effectively zero risk of sexual transmission and then they list the different types of sexual activity, which I'm sure you can figure out on your own. All right. Okay. So that's important to know. All right. Let me see here now. Lee says, yes, a medical is required for temporary work permits. Inspiring says, I can't understand why people can't use protection. Well, look at those who are having unplanned children. Clearly, the concept of protection eludes a lot of people. Inspiring. Good morning, Faith and Hope. El Ray, I think we've answered that question. He was saying, are all work permit holders that are HIV positive deported? Apparently not. Andrew says temporary should do the same test as applies to 1 year, because if the individual has HIV or any other disease, which are communicable and transmits them within our community in 3 months, we can create an epidemic. We cannot control who they are intimate with. Kimon, good morning, says if the viral load is undetectable for more than 6 months, then they don't transmit, but they will mean testing 6 monthly. Wait a minute. You mean testing every 6 months or monthly? Do you have to test monthly for viral load? Kimon, help me out here. I'm not sure if that 6 was a typo in there, but how do you test for viral load? Do they have like home kits that you can take? El Rey says this would be assault with a deadly virus. Andrew says we might be surprised to know the amount of HIV/AIDS cases that we have here on the islands. I think we would be. And you'd also be surprised to know who has it. So someone else just said to me that someone that is a senior in the community, they're like, oh, did you know this person has it? I mean, I've heard. Obviously, I don't know for a fact because I don't have their test results, but okay. All right. Someone reminding you that Public Health Clinic offers free HIV testing. You can make an appointment for confidential testing. Contact them 244-2648. You've got the options here: Georgetown General Clinic on Smith Road, Faith Hospital, and then you have the HSA District Health Centers, as well as the Cayman Islands Red Cross, and all private doctors, I assume, can offer it as well. And if you know someone who has tested positive, or you'd like some more information about HIV and other STI, there's an HIV and STI program coordinator at 938-4703, or consult your physician. Just to be clear, I think it is important to know your status. When was the last time you guys had an HIV test? Just curious to know, right? You can't always trust just because you think you're with a partner who you believe is faithful. Just get tested on a regular basis. It would be well worth your time to know for sure. Aniki Brown, good morning, ma'am, says COVID provisions have provided a new set of precedents internationally for how communicable diseases are handled at the border. This should be interesting. AJ says, Sandy, look up information on U equals U. We just did. Thank you so much. And with undetectable viral load, a person cannot transmit. Yes, thank you so much. So apparently a person who's undetectable for at least 6 months and is in treatment does not have to disclose his or her HIV status? Really? That's according to the CDC? Huh. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. So yes, temporaries do require medicals now. It started somewhere in the second half of 2025. Immigration instituted that as a requirement with the temporary application, along with the passport biodata page and the resumes of the applicants, right? But what I have found interesting is while they instituted that, which is definitely a good thing to add medicals, because I always wondered, or I didn't feel that having a temporary was a cop-out for not requiring a medical. However, the blood tests that were submitted with a medical previously were valid for 6 months. So if your blood tests were older than 6 months, you had to redo them.
Mhm.
If the other part of your medical was valid for different, like the x-rays were 5 years or 3, and the other deep questionnaire was valid for 1, I believe, but the blood tests were only valid for 6. Well, that has now changed. They are now valid for 12 months. So whilst I applaud immigration for instituting a medical requirement for a temporary, I'm not so pleased that they have increased the validity of those HIV and VDRL tests from 6 months to 12 months. That's my bite for this morning. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so
and maybe,
much.
And Nikki, because I see that she's commenting, I know that she is very well versed in medical and health and insurance and that, and maybe she may have insight that she could provide to explain some of the rationale that went behind this decision. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, interesting indeed. And, if you're not in the trenches, like you deal with these things every day and you're keeping up, sometimes there are changes to the legislation that we just don't know about. So this person says, if someone is positive, the public health practice is to give the person's partner PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis. So on the assumption that they probably, because of the exposure, you just want to go ahead and just give it to them, regardless of whether they're, still testing negative. Let me just see here. Okay, so PrEP is HIV medication taken by someone who's HIV negative to lower their chance of getting HIV from sex or injecting drug use. So that's when you're still testing negative, but you're probably like in a high risk situation. So you've been potentially exposed to someone who has it. So what PrEP does is it fills your bloodstream and genital rectal tissues with anti-HIV drugs before you're exposed. So if HIV enters the body, the virus is blocked from taking hold and multiplying. When taken as prescribed, PrEP can reduce the risk of getting HIV from sex by about 99% and from injection drug use by about 74%. So those injection drug uses very, very high risk, obviously, more so it seems than even sexual contact, which is very, very interesting. PrEP is for people who test negative for HIV but have higher risk, such as those who have an HIV positive partner, people with multiple partners, inconsistent condom use, sex workers, and people who share injecting equipment, which you should never do. Okay, but I guess when you're on drugs and stuff, you're probably not thinking about who else has used this needle today. And proper daily tablets. Of course, all of this is subject to availability and being able to afford it. I'm assuming it's mandatory that insurance companies cover this. All right, so 6 months to become undetectable, and then 6 months of being undetectable to equal untransmittable. Okay, thank you for the clarification. Viral load testing is done when they do a confirmatory. So think COVID, how they had the home tests that test if you're reactive or non-reactive. However, to confirm, it was the PCR, which is when it is lab tested. Same with HIV. Lab does further testing and they get viral loads from that. Okay, thanks. That's very useful information. Let me just see here, honey chill. Okay. 1 second. Interesting. There's a message I sent out this morning. I was trying to find it. Okay. So this one says, interestingly, many men in the gay community take PrEP as a precaution. I appreciate historically HIV was portrayed as a disease that primarily affected that community, but we know that's not the case years later. I wonder why PrEP isn't used more generally than to prevent transmission. FYI, you can buy PrEP on Ireland, many do. Oh, so can you go and get PrEP without like a prescription? You can just walk into the pharmacy and be like, I need PrEP. And how long do you take PrEP for? I must admit, there's quite a bit here that I'm learning today. Yeah, and I mean, the thing about it too is I would assume, say for example, I was thinking about this young lady who was sexually assaulted by DJ Renato, right? When you have a situation like that where you're sexually assaulted, is it now common practice? Like if a woman walks in and says, I was raped, I was sexually assaulted, do they automatically give her PrEP as a precaution? Just like they would, she could ask for the morning after pill as well? That story still shocks me because I can't believe that poor girl was sexually assaulted by this man, took the morning after pill, and still got pregnant. What are the chances? Dude has like super sperm, trying to procreate his bad genes. I mean, just beyond the devastation of the sexual assault, she had to deal with all that and then having to get an abortion. I was like, oh my God. Unapologetically says whoever this Jane Doe or Mary Jean is, or John Doe, sorry, they should be charged for intentionally infecting other people. And of course, that requires them knowing their HIV status as well. And you would be surprised how many people live in a world where they don't want to know because they believe that ignorance is bliss, so they don't get tested. Yep. Heaven Bless says people need to use protection and need to do blood tests before having sex with anyone in Cayman. And the thing is, let's be real here. As I'm thinking more about this and as I'm talking more about this, the truth of the matter is HIV testing should be a routine part of your health checks. So just like you're testing for cholesterol and all these other blood things, you should also just require an HIV test. Because just because you get tested, at the beginning of your relationship and you both test negative, you're making a couple assumptions. Number one, you're making the assumption that that person's going to be faithful. In Cayman, rough assumption to be making because a lot of them are not. So you're assuming they're not stepping out of the relationship and potentially exposing you that way. And you're also assuming that they were honest with you in the beginning and wouldn't have told you about a previous HIV positive. So maybe they were positive, now they're undetectable, right? And they never told you that. And if they slip up and they don't take their medication right, you're still at risk. Andrew says, is Magic Johnson is HIV still? Yeah, but I guess he's undetectable. Inspiring says abstinence is the best solution. Well, good luck with that one, honey Chia. This is probably the fornication capital of the world. I'm just saying. Aniki says British and Cayman common law does leave space for prosecution. Assault, battery, attempted murder, all of it. And consent also comes into question as to the sexual act itself. As for needle sharing, please notify your healthcare professionals so that you can protect them. So that they can protect themselves when taking blood. Oh, that's a good point too, because they are at a different level of risk. So, obviously they have blood handling procedures. So ideally, they should not be coming in contact with your blood, but things might happen, right? They might accidentally get pricked by a needle or whatever. And so you need to tell them before they even start handling you, you should indeed tell them about your HIV status. Thank you, Aniki. Fresh Joe says gonorrhea and chlamydia is also very rampant in Cayman. Yes, I think STDs in general, the hepatitis, is it hepatitis, the one that I'm thinking about, where you can now get the vaccine but they cause cancers of like the throat and mouth and whatever. You know, get vaccinated against these things. Even older people, you can still get vaccinated because although they recommend it for pre-teen or pre-sex teens or children, right, who yet haven't ever been exposed, even if you've had exposure, there's a number of different HPV, that's the one I'm looking for. There's a number of different HPV viruses. So it's possible that you may not have been exposed to all of them. And there's some that are directly linked to the cancer, right? So if you haven't been exposed to all of them, you still can benefit from getting the vaccine. I've been vaccinated against HPV as an adult. So go and get vaccinated. It's multiple shots. I can't remember how many, like 2 or 3. So yeah, I did the HPV vaccine as an adult, and it's a good idea. Because again, that will, you're talking about cancers. So thank you, AJ. Need to check the girls in Vic's bar, says Heaven Bless. I would say anyone has the potential, but certain jobs, it seems like, are obviously more high risk because they're more likely to be engaged in prostitution. Again, it's just the truth. I'm not here to judge, but low key I'm judging as I'm sipping my tea. And obviously, the more sexual partners you have and the more sexual partners you have that you don't even know anything about these people, your chances of catching everything and anything goes up. El Rey says, fun fact, a small number of people estimated at less than 10% are resistant to HIV infection, primarily due to a genetic mutation. This mutation stops the virus from entering immune cells. Other factors include strong immune responses and immune quiescence, and highly exposed but uninfected individuals. And don't take any chances that you're going to be in that percentage. Don't do it. Trust me. Thank you, Damien. Yes, the caller confirmed that about the medical tests, the temporaries now. In my honest opinion, once you have HIV, herpes, or syphilis, a work permit should be deniable. Go vote in the poll question. There's also injectable PrEP taken every 2 months instead of the daily PrEP to help with treatment adherence for sexual assault victims. It's PEP, post-exposure. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, AJ. Appreciate it. HIV takes up to 4 weeks to appear, and there's no requirement by law for Caymanian PR holders' rights when getting employment. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole slew of people who don't have to get tested. But like I said, it's a good idea. Gabby says, yes, you should get tested at least once per year, married or single. And if you're with a partner who's refusing to get tested, raise your eyebrow, class. Ask them why. Anthony says the fornication capital is not in Grand Cayman, but in Cayman Brac. Well, I said the Cayman Islands. All 3 islands I'm including. I don't know how much fornicating they do in Little Cayman, but probably enough. When you have lots of time on your hands, things are going on. AJ says new in the market is the FDA-approved 6-month injection for PrEP. Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you, Damien. Andrew says men and women who come here under work permit stringently need screening. Listen, one of the things that they need to start screening for, and I think they need to start screening for other stuff, is like cancers and stuff too, because there are people who are coming here who know that they're positive. Like they need to have a more general physical before being able to get a work permit, because they know that they have cancers, breast cancers, and other types of cancers. They purposely come here once they find out their diagnosis in order to get access to medical treatment. And we're in such a small community that, let's be honest here, the burden on the insurance market, we pay very high rates, right? But they're not thinking about it that way. They're just thinking about, well, I just need to get treatment for breast cancer. And in the Cayman Islands, they have NPOs and other agencies who I can get vouchers from, and they're going to help me get treatment. I know that a diagnosis of any kind of serious illness can literally bankrupt you. And so, but there are people who are taking advantage of the fact that not that type of testing is not required. Even the Cubans, the migrants coming into the boat, they're telling people, oh yeah, I'm sick, or I have a known health issue. I'm gonna get on the boat, not because I'm trying to get to Miami, because God knows the US doesn't have the best health system either, but they want to come to Cayman because our government is going to have them checked out physically if they need treatment, if they have teeth that need fixing, apparently, and whatever, like it's a dire situation, we're going to give them medical care. And that's why they come. Sad, but something to be aware of, that it's actually happening. Mm-hmm. Because the whole medical world is under pressure. Mm-hmm. All righty. Hello, caller. Good morning. Hold on. Let me fix my law. Hi, good morning.
Hi, Sandra. I'm just calling in to clarify something.
I can't. Hold on one second. You're coming in so low. Can anybody hear her?
Is this better?
All right. Let me see if people can hear you. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear her on the live feed? You're sounding really low for me.
Okay, let me try this.
It might just be me. Hold on. Try it again. You're very low.
Okay, tell you what.
But let me no, hold on. This happened to me yesterday, and can you guys hear her? Can't hear her. Okay, hold on. Because I do need to figure this out, because something has changed why my previous settings are not working. So hold on one second. How about now? Can anybody hear her now? Speak, caller.
I'm
Speaking up. Nope. They said they can't hear you. This is so weird. I don't know what happened to my because I used to be able to take. And how about now? Oh, now I can hear you. Can you guys hear her now? I don't know. How about now, folks? I don't know why, because before you still can't hear her. Yeah, I mean, I can hear you, but hold on. What were you not plugged into before?
I didn't have a microphone on.
Nope.
So I just added a fresh microphone.
No, I mean, I could hear you better when I changed this, but then people saying that they can't hear you. All right, hold on. Let me put you back to default. Hello?
Is that better?
Huh.
Can you hear me now?
No. It's so weird. I mean, I've always been able to hear people through the WhatsApp, but this is weird.
Do you want me to just call you direct? Because I don't mind that.
No, because I do need to figure this out. Okay, how about now?
Let me know if you can hear me.
I'm changing all these settings for WhatsApp. Input device, output device. Hold on.
Start singing or what? 'Cause I could do that.
Yeah, I mean, right? Okay, can anybody hear her? Can anybody hear her? All right, hold on. Let me change one other thing. Yeah, I don't know. This is so weird. It's one of those issues that I know I need to fix because people call in using this option, but then I don't know. Huh.
I was on speaker at first, and then I changed it. Hold on.
Can you guys hear her now? I mean, I can hear you, but you're not coming in particularly loud for me. And then when I changed it,
if you need me to.
no. Okay, I think you guys can hear her now. Keep talking.
Okay, so I mean, what I actually called in to talk about was something that keeps coming up around this HIV thing. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you better, but they're saying very faintly.
spent 15 years or so in the health insurance industry. And one of the things that has come up often is how does this HIV pandemic, which has never ended, how does it affect our health insurance costs? And the truth is, we've isolated ourselves as much as possible from it.
Right.
In that our health insurance law stops, it allows health insurers to refuse cover for health for anything related to an STD. That includes testing. Yes.
Wait a minute. Wait the hell a minute. Back this up. So our laws allow insurance companies to refuse people.
It's an exclusion. It's a permitted exclusion.
What?
Yes, for sexually transmitted diseases. This includes HIV, but it specifically mentions HIV.
That's crazy.
Okay? So let me just tell you how this works out in practice.
Okay.
So how this works out in practice is that testing for STDs is not usually covered.
What?
It also means,
but that's stupid.
Does a lot of it. The public health department does a lot of it. So this is all.
Oh no, we got to change this law. We got to change this.
Okay. So that's the first section. The second part is that antiretroviral treatment is also not covered. Therefore, it is covered. Has to be covered by the Cayman Islands government. Now, you see?
OMG.
But that's not even the scary part, Sandra. Because you have to remember that HIV and AIDS are not usually what kills a person.
Right.
What kills a person is an illness that they contract that their immune system is unable to battle and combat on their behalf. That is also excluded. So essentially, when somebody has that kind of diagnosis, even if they have health insurance cover, it is of very little use to them because almost everything can be tracked back to their lack of immune response.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, you would think it would be in people's best interests. So, okay, you having.
But hold on, there's more. Oh,
geez, and peace.
Only one health insurance, because of course that's the law, right? So the law provides the minimum of coverage that has to exist. What actually has happened in the market is that even when those minimums exist, certain carriers will cover it. Will cover something that is refused or allowed to be excluded. So for instance, before same-sex partners were required to be covered by law, I think 2 insurers in Cayman covered it. Right? Now, HIV is one of those exceptions that has been held to like a hard line in the current market. The only carrier who has ever covered HIV and STDs, to the best of my knowledge, has been Generali. And of course, they left the market in 2021. So one of the things we need to take into account, and of course, I mean, I'm on the work permit board at the moment, but it's not something that I'm permitted to really talk about yet, right? But this is not why I called in. I'm calling in from the position of an insurer or a former representative of the industry. But when we're making considerations for immigration, we need to be thinking about what does this mean? What has COVID provided certain precedents that had never been instituted in the past, right? Around border control and whether or not we could be using an illness to prevent people from entering our border. That is something that COVID gave us for the first time. And it's something that I think is going to end up causing a lot of changes throughout the world in the way that we actually look at that border control piece. However, another piece to consider here is that in the absence of border control, we already have our own problems here at home. We already have our own population to care for. The government is bearing 100% of that cost.
That's crazy. I did not know that. And I think it's crazy.
And you have to understand where that came from. When the antiretroviral drugs first came out, they were incredibly expensive. Like they were astronomically expensive. And in order to protect insurers from bankruptcy, as a result of the
Mhm.
burden of carrying that was taken out. But now you're seeing that the cost of antiretroviral drugs has made treatment of HIV and AIDS in particular very similar to managing any other chronic disease like diabetes or hypertension. Like your medication
Mhm.
is regular. The government's actually been very, very good and very discreet, to the best of my knowledge, in the way that they handle this. So
Mm.
there's a lot of good to be said for how we've handled this in the past. But of course, we're always looking to the future and what has to happen next.
Mhm. Mm. Wow. Yeah, I think it's time for some amendments to be made because I certainly did not know this. Thank you so much, caller, for educating us here today. Because this doesn't make any logical sense for the Cayman Islands government to be carrying the load on this. That's crazy. Wow. That's
Well, that's where we are, and
yeah.
it worked for us when we were a very small location.
Yeah.
It worked for us when the population was growing internally rather
Yeah.
than having input from
Yeah.
external.
And then
there were reasons at the time.
And the thing is, here's the problem that I'm having with this, right? Because if someone tests positive and they have no, like their insurance company isn't covering it, how likely are they to even, I guess they force them to go to public health, but a lot of people don't want to go to public health, or they don't want to go to HSA. They want to go to their own private physician, perhaps be a bit more discreet, with their visits and stuff like that. I actually know people who are members of the LGBTQ plus community that can afford it. They go overseas to get tested
Mm-hmm.
and to get their treatments and stuff like that because they feel like Cayman is still too small and they don't want people up in their business. But not everybody can afford to travel off island to get medication.
Yeah, and not only that, it's traveling off island to get medication, but you're also paying for the
Out
full
of
extent
pocket.
of your treatment.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, that's why the government has done what they can by providing access to care,
Yeah.
which I think is more than most territories with this type of setup of funding for healthcare do. But it's something to consider for future. Like, what are we doing? And when we're actually setting people up to enter the country, I actually have an open question that I don't know yet, and I'm hoping that one of your listeners can actually answer the question. If a person is not from the Cayman Islands and they're here on work permit, do they have access to the government program? I don't know that. So I know that Caymanians are definitely covered for antiretroviral. And
I would think so, because I think public health isn't available just because of
but it might be free only to Caymanians. I'm not sure. I really wouldn't know that. So that's a good question to ask someone in their official capacity.
Okay. Let me find out. Wow. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
Thank you, caller. Damn. I'm shocked. Shocked and surprised. This is why I love this show, because we learn from each other.
Well, I'm going to go listen to the rest of your show. Have a good one.
Okay, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Okay, all right. So we figured out the mic, the people, you said you could hear her loud and clear. It's so weird because I don't know what has changed, but it's completely different from what used to work. But we're going to go with the flow. I can't even, my brain can't even process what's going on. We just go with the flow. Huh. Wow, that's what a shocker. Let me try to get some confirmation for her last question there. Anyone on the public health side? Someone says, I'm going overseas. PrEP is way cheaper in the UK than here in Cayman. Well, I don't know if you can go 12 hours overseas, but there you go. Do we test those who come by boat from Cuba, and anyone who may have HIV now listening to this from elsewhere knows that CIG will foot the bill for them? Revision needed. We will lobby the government to change that. You insurance companies, honey child, y'all better start covering and carrying your load, because this sounds a little bit low key crazy. Where is the minister responsible for the finances, Mr. Anglin? I think he's coming on the show tomorrow. We need to put this question to him. Because, yeah, we the government, because when it's the government, that means it's we the people. The government not in isolation. So let's be very, very clear about this. Somebody paying for it, and I mean that we paying for it. My God, the things that you just don't know going on right here in our beautiful little island. My goodness. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Oh. That is food for thought. I'm still mulling over it going, huh? Wow. I'm shocked. Okay. I gotta find out. Wow. Stumped me. All right, we'll try to get some more details on that. Thank you so much. Really, really useful information today, I must say. Yeah, I'm sitting here shaking my head. I'm so confused. Good morning, caller.
Good. Hang on. Oh, I was trying to turn your volume down.
Good morning. How are you? By the way, I saw a little birdie posting on social media that you just had a birthday a few days ago. Happy birthday.
Yes, I had a birthday on Monday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And they posted a bunch of pictures of you.
Yes.
From when you were young.
I'm still young.
And really, really young. I have to ask you a question. Did you always keep your hair short?
I was always either very short or very long.
Okay.
Yeah, I was never one of those in-between styles because, it just took too much time styling.
Right.
So, I mean, my preference is short hair. However, I have a sister who doesn't want me to cut my hair, but my daughter doesn't like me with long hair. She likes me when it's short. Yeah.
I was going to say she keeps hers short too.
Yeah, she said, she always says to me, like when I grow it out, she don't say anything. And then if I cut it, she says, "Oh, that's my mommy." She said, "I love you like that." She said, "Mommy, you look so sexy and stuff with your short hair." So I guess what she really wants is a sexy mommy, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But to be honest, the last time I grew my hair out, I did it for my granddaughters because they had never seen me with long hair. And they saw the pictures. And when you become a grandmother, you'll know. And they kept saying, "Nana, you got to grow your hair out. We want to see you with long hair." And they had long hair. So I decided to grow it for them. You see the things we do for the grands? Okay. Anyway, yeah. So,
yes.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I was actually going to send you a message that day to let you know that two of your listeners also had a birthday that day. Dana Warren Jr. and Carol Jackson.
Oh, you share birthdays with them. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday to both of them. Absolutely.
Yeah. Actually, there are a lot of us that share that birthday. Kurt Tibbetts shares birthday with me, and his brother Deniston. His is the 9th, exactly 1 week after.
Okay.
And I have a niece who was born on my birthday, and then she has a sister who's the day before. So they were determined to steal my birthday from me. I had to stop. Yeah, I had to stop that. I mean, for like 9 years, till retarded. So I said, "No, this is got to end here now. Time for me to celebrate my birthday." Oh yes, because I'm a birthday person.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, and then I'm sure Lloyd Sampson. He shares birthday with me, and Conor May Whitaker, Karen Pearl. There's so many. Yeah, there's so many. I try to remember, but I kind of just stop trying to remember everyone, but just to remember the ones that I communicate with so I can say happy birthday to them. But yes, I did have a birthday on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very strange, very unusual birthday,
Mm-hmm.
but I am just very, very grateful that I'm home and I'm alive. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, and my daughter and my girls, well, she keeps correcting me when I say my children. She says grandchildren. So, yeah, so they sent me beautiful
Yeah.
flowers
Oh,
and
wonderful.
balloons and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, that's so
So,
nice.
yeah, And then someone called me and asked me how old. They wanted to know how old I was because obviously buying numbers. And of course, I'm stuck on 28. So I just say, what do you mean? I said, I'm 28. They said, stop it. I said, I'm 28. Not a day older, not a day younger. I'm 28. But what is amazing about that is that no one will ever ask why 28. So,
Well, I'm going to ask today, why 28?
Well, it was a very special year for me.
Okay.
And it was when everything in my life changed. And as I say, I sprout my wings. So I could fly. I could fly on my own. So
okay.
I'll just leave it there unless you
Wonderful.
want me to do a complete show on it.
Oh, I am curious, but I'll let my curiosity leave it there.
That's the short version.
Okay.
Anyway, Sandra, I don't know if I heard wrong. Sorry. Or not. But I believe, because, well, just so that you know, World Cup cricket is on. So, that's got my full attention. And so I'm watching that, but I, was also listening to you. And like I say, I don't know if I heard wrong or not, but you can correct me. I thought I heard someone saying or comment something about government paying for people who are HIV positive that I hear on work permits.
Well, she wasn't sure. She said that government pays for it because insurance companies have the right to exempt it, and they do.
No, wait, no.
But I've just clarified. Well, she didn't. She said she didn't know, but she's just written back and said confirming that government pays even if you're not Caymanian.
Actually, that's not correct because I was listening to the proceedings in the House yesterday, and funny enough, that came up, and because once upon a time, when a work permit application was being made, you had to do the medical, and if you were HIV positive, not just HIV, it's HIV, it's TB, it's hepatitis, it's a couple of them. It was just not granted. But this has happened. One of those big law firms decided to challenge it. Okay, and the grounds that they challenged it on, and I guess it sounds like they won, is if the person has the means to take care of themselves, meaning pay for their medication, the company is willing to insure them, that sort of thing, then the permit is granted. Now, I don't know how many cases that was done in, but that is the present law. Now, the follow-up question to that, and of course I had many myself, is, well, who's monitoring these people? Do these people go and check in that they can check the viral load and so on? So that question was asked. Of course, then it was brought up that recently, I guess, but I shouldn't say recently, but it is now known that a person that is HIV positive has now infected 6 people. And
well, hold on. Let me stick a pin because you might have missed this part of when we started this conversation. So, Representative Chris Saunders is the one who brought this up, and this is his version of what's going on. I have been trying to get independent verification from government if this is accurate. No one in government seems to know this, and they are checking on the validity of what the member of parliament has said. So he has said that, but we don't have confirmation. And in parliament, they can say anything they want. They get parliamentary privilege. So I'm trying to actually verify if we know, because they would know if they had an individual who has infected 6 individuals on the BRAC. So I'm trying to get that confirmed.
I'm going to say, I don't know if it was the BRAC or GRAN, but what I can say, because like I said, I listened to the whole thing last night. What I can say is other members made reference to it. So it seems that it is known. However, they
said they heard about it, but we are trying to confirm it. Yeah.
But they keep harping on this thing about the confidentiality of the patient, which I do not agree with. I'm sorry. But let me just say that based on all of this, and there seems to be truth to it, because it is one of the amendments that will now be made to the new immigration bill. So that will be reviewed, revised, reversed, and also it applies to a person who is on work permit, and that work permit can be revoked. So, but if you're gonna have Minister Anglin on, I'm sure he could shed some light on it, not by way of saying which island, or of course they ain't gonna say the name, because they don't even want to confirm how many HIV people that we have running around here in Cayman. So I don't see where that is breaching anybody's confidentiality. It's not like you've called the name. It's not like you've given an address. You don't even have to give the sex of the person, because I know once upon a time, public health would do a report, and they would say, how many HIV patients, have in Cayman, and they would also say, well, we had X amount, but X amount have left the island, So I think that is knowledge we should be aware of. As I said, I do not expect to know the person's name, but we should at least know that it is still here, or if they can confirm that every case that we had here, they have left or the person has passed on, I do believe that we, the people, would feel a lot better knowing that. But we certainly should know what the status is. But not just with that, but hepatitis is something that a lot of people overlook, but that is quite rampant as well, And then, of course, believe it or not, you have TB. So, these third world countries, these things are rampant there. Hepatitis is very rampant in Cuba. They are immune to it, but you and I are not. So, but, if you go back and, you listen to that portion, what I took from it is that there is truth to it. So,
yes, we're trying to
suppose they could have simply said, no, we have no evidence of that, or no, we have no records that state that. That's that was my way of looking at it. Hello? Hello?
1 second.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, let me explain the main reason we are calling you.
Hold on. Okay, so I've got an overseas call I need to take, but thank you so much, caller. I appreciate it.
Okay, sure.
All right, folks, we're going to look into this and try and get these other things answered, but I do have this overseas call that I have got to take. So let me do this. This is quite urgent, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. I think you guys can hear me now. Okay. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.